Zimmerman's frog is about the size of an acorn, and the dads can smell which of the tadpoles are more carnivorous than the others. We'll talk about that and more fun Zimmerman frog facts while I sketch this little hopper. So let's just turn the page and get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on a, goodness, is it Sunday morning? Sunday morning. On Sunday mornings, I like to do a little thing where I draw a toy from the toy box, a random object from the Random Object Randomogrifier, if you will. I like to pull it out and I like to draw it and I like to talk about it. Now, truthfully, we do this every day at 5:30 in the morning, not just on Sunday mornings. So you may want to set that notification bell so you don't miss any of them. But today's random object is a Zimmerman's dart frog. Good morning, Ivy. Good morning, Cassandra. Mom and Dad in the chat, good morning. Today's random object is a Zimmerman's dart frog. And these things, this toy this morning is bigger than life size. It's either right at life size or it's a little bigger than life size, because they're tiny little frogs. They're in the Andes, mostly in the Peruvian Andes, but they found them in neighboring countries as well. But they're tiny little frogs. And they are dart frogs. They are poisonous, but they have a different kind of poison than the other frogs. Their poison is pumiliotoxin, which means it affects your breathing and your heart. It affects your heart. I said breathing. I meant heart, pulmonary. It slows and stops your heart if you're small enough for the toxin to affect you. But for most of us, we're not small enough for the toxin to affect us. So it would just be annoying for us. It's not quite as deadly as its cousins for us. But it is like its cousins in that it gets its toxins from its diet. If it doesn't eat the ants and beetles that it does in the wild, then it loses its toxicity.
Certainly has interesting markings.
It does. It really does. He's a pretty little thing, mostly black with red trim
And white feet.
and little white toes. He is an interesting little booger to look at, that's for sure. I can tell you that I'm already confused by most of my pencil marks. I'm going to have to switch to pen real quick. It is easy for me to get confused by the pencil marks because they get sketchy and you can't tell which ones are supposed to be complete or not. Ivy says there's an art store near her that it's now selling sacks of variety of little 1-inch tallish random figurines. I love that. That was one of the things when I fantasized about opening my studio gallery here. That was one of the things that I wanted to make sure I had. Was I wanted to have sacks of figurines that people could buy, and I had this fantasy that I would have. I would have 8 or 10 objects in the sack, and you would pay $8 for them for the sack, and take it home and draw them, and then at the end of the week you could bring them back, and I would give you $8 credit for it. And so for $2 you could have them for the week and bring them back to me, and then you could use that credit to get you something else, to get you some more. And that was to encourage people to draw daily. You could come and get random objects to draw daily. That was one of my fantasies of things I wanted to offer at my studio, should I ever be able to open a studio here.
We have Vernon.
Hey, Vermin. I can't tell. Is that an M or an N? Likes frogs. Good morning. So our small little frog this morning is a Zimmerman frog, named for Elke Zimmerman, who discovered her. She discovered them. It's not just that she discovered them; she had to prove that it was a different species, because there are so many that have similar markings, and it was the pumiliotoxin that set them apart. That's why that's important in our discussion, is because their toxins affect the heart, while everything else affects the nervous system. All of the cousins affect the nervous system. See what I mean about getting confused by the markings? I don't know if you can tell that I just drew in a line that shouldn't be there, but luckily it lines up with a marking, and it doesn't line up with the leg, but it lines up with the marking, so I'll be all right. It's the problem with making them sketchy lines. That's why you're not supposed to make sketchy lines. Oh well, we'll figure it out. We're going to get essence of frog this morning, is what's going to happen. That is something I want to do, Abby. I still want to do it. I don't see how we're going to be able to do it here, though. Everything here is just the real estate is just too expensive. Zimmerman frog tadpoles are carnivorous. Now, most tadpoles are omnivorous. What did we talk about the other day? The Pac-Man frog, where their tadpoles are also omnivorous, are carnivorous. But the Zimmerman frogs, the dad will actively seek out other tadpoles when depositing his tadpoles into the pools, will actively seek out other tadpoles, and he can sniff them, and he can tell if they are more carnivorous or less carnivorous than his. And they believe that it's because he can smell the poop and determine the the amount of the level of carnivority. I don't know, the level of carnivore more likely to eat the others by smelling the poop of the ones that are there, even among his own, even among his own offspring. And he will do that in an effort to make sure that where he deposits his, the tadpoles are less likely to eat his babies, and his babies are more likely to eat theirs.
Is this one by Safari?
No, Safari has a collection of dark frogs, but this is Toy Mana.
Okay,
Because you what?
because I think the coloring of the frog is really black with the yellow green. It's a blue black.
I don't know. I found lots of pictures with this exact coloration.
Interesting.
This would the main difference between this company and Safari is Safari labels theirs, so I can look at Safari's and I can see exactly what it is. I can flip it over underneath, and I can see, oh, okay, so this is a Zimmerman's frog, or this is a Pac-Man frog, or whatever kind of frog it is, you know. But with with these other brands, as cool as they are, I can't tell. I can't tell the specifics about the frog. I get it. I can see the frog, and then I have to look for similar patterns. Is Ivy Balin? Ivy, thanks for stopping by. I know it's difficult to be awake so early in the morning. And then Pamela, good morning, Pamela. Let me dry this real quick. Maybe Ivy can see some paint drying before she leaves. I have been downloading dance videos from Facebook. There's a trend of dances for like uh, Aretha Franklin's "Respect" or "Do You Remember the 21st Day of September?" I can't think of the name of that song. I think it's September. But there's a trend of those choreographed dances being posted, and I have been downloading them because I had the intention of dancing to them and recording them just for the drawing videos. They're in the Ranidomea family. These frogs, they're about an inch or so, about the size of an acorn. We said they're in the Peruvian Andes. That means they're high altitude frogs. They like to be up 1,600 to 4,500 feet above sea level.
They're so tiny, they would before you knew it.
Right. And they don't want to attack you. They're not at all. They're not at all interested in attacking you. Their toxicity is in they're not venomous. They're poisonous.
Yeah.
They don't bite you. They make you not happy when you bite them. So they're not venomous. People that's a running joke among the scouts, among the Boy Scouts. When people ask, "Is this poisonous?" No, that is not poisonous at all. And then it bites you and you die, and you're lying there sick. And they say, "Now we're going to talk about the difference between poisonous and venomous." Poisonous is you bite it and it kills you or harms you, makes you sick. Venomous is it attacks you and makes you sick. And these are poisonous, not venomous.
I'm getting worried because I don't plan on biting it.
You're not going to lick a toad?
No, not
I got my subcolors down. Let me dry that one more time, and then we're going to come back with some vermilion and then something to blacken that blue. They have mimics, and it's interesting because they have multiple mimics. They don't just have the one mimic. They have multiple mimics, and one of the mimics is not even toxic. Just has the same colors, and it's not even in the same altitude, not in the same country, but it still has the same markings, and it still has the same or very similar markings rather. But it's not toxic at all. And then there's go ahead.
If I bite someone and they die, I'm venomous.
That's right. If you bite someone and they die, you are venomous.
Pamela says, "Vermilion, that is it not scarlet, or don't you give a darn?"
So the scarlet's a little too blue for what we want, and the vermilion's a little too yellow for what we want. So I started with the vermilion, and I actually started with yellow, and then I added some, and then I'm going back over it with some vermilion with a touch of scarlet added to it. That way, we get just the right shade of red orange.
And
Do. These things are not endangered. There are tens of thousands of them in the wild. They're not endangered, but they are being actively sought for the pet industry. It's likely the altitude that is protecting them more than anything else, because they're not building homes and farms on the side of the Andes Mountains. So it's likely the altitude that's saving them. But the pet industry likes them because, again, they have this unique coloration of being pinstriped black, pinstriped red. And that makes them really popular in the pet industry. But luckily, they breed well in captivity. And in captivity, they don't actually need to find. My question was, is they're one of their traits is, as we discussed, they like to the dads like to deposit the tadpoles in with other tadpoles so that his bebes can eat the other bebes and have snack and stuff. But turns out they don't need that.
Sandra says at least they are safe.
Yeah, that's right. So many of the animals we draw are in danger because of the land development or the pet industry. So many of them are having struggles. It's nice when you draw one that's not endangered. But I mean, it is kind of endangered. It's just not as endangered as the others. Tell you what, let's do. Let's go around the outside of that with some green. Otherwise, those toes won't really stand out as white. When you do this, you have to remember to go over the shadows. Otherwise, the shadows will look like they're not part of the background. Will look like they're part of the frog and not part of the ground. And I chose green because I figured it would pop against that orange better.
Here's this hill.
Hey, Adele. All right. Let me dry this real quick, and then we'll ink it. Pamela said she took green around her lion yesterday, her watercolor lion that she did yesterday, and it turned out really well. And she wants us to check out Dusty Bee Handmade Watercolor. What is that? Tell us what that is.
That's some nice colors.
Can't talk. Arting.
The watercolors and they were founded by artist Corey Butts. And it's small batch paints made by hand.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. I may have to check that out. Do. Da-da. All right, what is today? Oh my goodness, right at 6 o'clock. Look at us go, right on time. Today is the 26th of April. Right on time. So there is my frog compared to the photograph. Let's see it from my perspective. She says it granulates like nobody's business. Is that a good thing? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so there it is. There it is from my perspective. So that's what I did this morning. Tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? What is tomorrow? Dun, dun, dun. Tomorrow we have
This granulation is beautiful.
I have misplaced tomorrow's egg. How do you do that? How do you misplace tomorrow's egg? How does that happen? No. It's the suspense. I know it's the suspense. It's driving you all crazy. I see what happened. My basket got turned around backwards. Okay. Sorry about that. I was terrified that I didn't have the right basket. So tomorrow, let's see what it is. Tomorrow is the Hubble telescope. We have the Hubble telescope tomorrow. I know everybody was like, it's going to be a dinosaur. It's going to be a frog. It's going to be a who knows what it's going to be. Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's the Hubble telescope. We can talk about tomorrow. We can talk about the Hubble telescope, how it was launched with a flawed mirror that nobody realized was flawed. The dimensions were off by the width of a human hair, and it distorted all the vision. And they had to build a set of glasses, corrective lenses, to go up and install in space. And the corrective lenses are the size of a phone booth. We'll talk about that and more fun Hubble telescope facts tomorrow morning while we sketch this little flyer at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. So you're going to want to set your notification bell so you don't miss that. Because we all know how easy it is to get distracted, like by cleaning house or whatever. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I do look forward to doing this every day. I was teasing Adele. I'm sorry, Adele. I shouldn't tease you like that. I do look forward to this every day when I get to art with my besties. Pamela, Rick, Ivy was here a minute ago. Cassandra, Adele. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Vernon I can't see because my little glasses won't focus on that. Vernon over on the vertical side. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I do look forward to it every day, and I appreciate it. It is holds me accountable to my art practice and is often the only art I get to do in a day. So thank you so much for that. Be sure and tune in tomorrow, same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because when they see me dancing, I will know that the lag has caught up with the stream. I won't get cut off mid-sentence. You'll get a chance to click the clicky thingies this way if you're on the horizontal, or this way if you're on the vertical. Gives everybody a chance to say hello and goodbye and chat amongst themselves. But the most important part is that I don't get cut off mid-sentence, because being